That's a big brain play.
Yeah, this is big brain time.
Hello friends and welcome back to ReddX, your source for the freshest daily Reddit content. Anywhere on the internet. Promise, swearsies, it's just a fact and it's totally science. Go ahead and look it up. Today we are jumping into some r/Legbeard stories. And as a matter of fact, these Legbeard stories came from my personal subreddit, r/ReddX Reads. And I have to give a huge thank you to the users that have been posting them, because Legbeard stories are hard to come by, you know. I have been hoarding them mostly because it is difficult to find them. And to get them directly from the source in my very own personal subreddit, just what a blessing, dude. So again, thank you guys in a big, big way. We're gonna get some plugs and disclaimers out of the way, and then we will do what we do and jump right into this Legbeard cringe. My Stalker Legbeard. Yes, as they are wont to do. Made a throwaway to post this, but hello, fellow Xers. Xers, huh? I generally just call my users friends. I'm not about those cutesy names and shit. So hello, friends, and welcome to my tale of terror. To start off, here's the beloved and loathed cast. OP, your effeminate hero. Pink, my best friend who wore pink constantly and had a personality that could be described as, well, pink. Stalker Leg, our very troubled antagonist, and Weebarella, Stalker Leg's accomplice. There are some other colorful characters, but they're not important enough to have a role made specifically for them. It all began when I was but a strapping lad of just 16 years old. Like most antisocial teens my age, I was feeling the pressure from my mom to join some kind of club or sport. Seeing as my school had mostly athletic after-school clubs, it was pretty difficult to find something that I would actually enjoy joining. Then one day, it was announced, like gospel to a choir, the school was welcoming a gaming club to their list of clubs. Aw yeah! And it would be beginning that Friday in the library. And there would be snacks. Shit, I'm there. This was a trap that had been set by a deliberate hunter, and I had fallen right into it. After all, who can resist snacks and video games? Not me, even after all these years. Bro, I totally feel you on that. Of course, I texted my best friend, who had also become smitten with the idea of this fabled land, and we agreed that we would go together. All the days leading up to Friday were painfully slow and boring, but when Friday finally came, I got the devastating news that Pink had come down with the flu and wouldn't be joining me that afternoon. Still, I was determined to, at the very least, get some snacks and play some games, even if it was without the companionship of my best friend. The day came and went rather quickly, and soon enough I was walking into the library and greeted by the smell of very bad body odor. The smell of sweaty gamers. I almost gagged and I wondered what the fuck I had gotten to myself into. I wasn't used to boy stank, seeing as I'd grown up with 3 older sisters who spent all their money from part-time jobs on lotions and body sprays. The source of the stench was just ahead, but also ahead was a table filled to the brim with snacks. Aw yeah! I decided to just march on and walked into the designated spot. There were surprisingly few kids gathered around a table, a Wii U at the center that was projected onto a screen. You probably already guessed, but it was Super Smash Bros. That they were laboring over. The teacher who was supposed to be monitoring gave me a brief, "Hey!" before looking down at their laptop once more. None of the other boys looked up at me, focusing on their plate full of goodies and the video game. I got my own plate soon enough and sat an awkward distance away to eat, already making up my mind that I would not be coming back. That was when the doors flew open, and there was a loud, girly chatter. The boys at the table paused suddenly and looked up to see what goddesses had entered their sacred lair. 2 rather overweight and tall girls entered the room, adorned in the finest of weeb attire. One of them had long, oil-slick dyed hair. This was a popular dye style when I was in high school, and the other had short pink hair. The two were greeted and fawned over by the male club members, and I, of course, said hi, too. When I did, the one with the pink hair stared for a second before she broke out into a wide grin and offered her hand for me to shake, and I took it. Her palms were disgustingly sweaty.
Hi, I'm Stalker Leg. It's really nice to meet you.
Oh, I'm OP. The way she grinned was making me slightly uncomfortable because I swear it showed every last one of her teeth. She was also gripping my hand like a steel trap. Her friend soon noticed and stopped talking to the gamers and turned to talk to us instead.
I'm Weebarilla. I think we had class together last year.
Since my hand was otherwise occupied, I just gave her a smile. The two girls spent almost the entire club period with me, and because they were ladies, the boys actually let me play so they would seem polite. I'll be the first to admit I'm absolute shit at Smash Bros. However, I was somehow beating Stalker Leg with relative ease, like she was barely trying. It was really weird, but hey, a victory is a victory, right? Yeah, I guess. As long as you're not betting, it's copacetic. By the time I left the club, there was a bounce in my step and a bit more swagger to my walk. As I went outside, Weebarella and Stalker Leg raced to catch up with me.
OP! OP!
Yeah? Stalker Leg was panting slightly.
I forgot to ask you if you have a kick.
I would never tell a real-life person I know my kick nowadays, but in high school, I gave it to just about anyone. So I made my biggest high school mistake and handed over my kick to Stalker Leg with a smile. I also gave it to Weebarella, which ended up digging my grave even deeper. They waited with me and we talked about anime and stuff. At the time, I was really into Full Metal Alchemist and was more than happy to discuss it with anyone who would listen, though I had a bad habit of just cutting myself off from any topic that I was interested in after about a minute. However, Stalker Leg made me feel more comfortable just rambling on, since we were both adding to the topic eagerly. I actually felt a bit sad when my dad pulled around to pick me up and take me home. The first red flags appeared the minute that I got home. I saw that I had about 30 notifications from Kick, all from Stalker Leg. She's just trying to continue the conversation, bro. I checked these messages with bated breath, and there were paragraphs upon paragraphs talking about different shows, games, and manga. I was definitely feeling a bit perturbed, but I figured, hey, she's probably just excited to have a new friend to talk to, and I decided to message her back. Each time I would respond, I'd receive yet another paragraph from her. We spent hours talking, even if I only gave a couple of letters as a response. Yeah, okay. When I inevitably had to go to sleep, I woke up to more and more messages. It was just a never-ending barrage. I didn't respond that morning, instead messaging Pink about the slew of messages, and she was rightfully also weirded out by them. She told me that she'd talk to Stalker Leg on Mondays since she knew that I hated conversation, and she actually enjoyed that quite a bit. Since this is getting long, I'll leave it here for now, but I'll see you guys in the next part. Oh snap! Saga? Series? Confrontation? Color me intrigued. I guess I'll have to stick Stalker Leg in the title so people will be able to find it. But yeah, Smash Bros. And Snacks sounds like an awesome time to me. The only problem is that you gotta play it with a bunch of little high school sweats. And that ain't no good. My favorite part about Smash Bros. These days is you can just play it online. You don't gotta feel pressured to perform in any way. If you don't like how somebody else is playing, guess what? There's 100 other people playing, so just don't rematch them. You'll be fine. And also, I get to play Smash Bros. From the comfort of my own home. Isn't technology wonderful? I might be showing like a little bit of my age, but I don't know what the deal is with Kick. Why would you only give it to people that you don't actually know in real life? The only messaging service that I actually use is Discord, and I only have about 3 people that I actually know in real life in the Discord. But if more wanted to join, I would welcome them with open arms. But overall, yeah, if I got 30 messages from one person, I guarantee you that I'm not going to respond. That is just way too much to process for one, and two, I ain't got time like that, you know? I'm more than glad to talk with people in Discord and respond to comments and stuff, especially since YouTube's my full-time job now. But there is a limit, you know? My time's not endless. Sometimes you have to wait a day or two for an answer, which I hope most people are fine with. And if you ain't, then sorry. I can't help it. This is what I gotta do. So yeah, if I just handed you my kick info and came home to 30 messages, I'd be like, well, this chick's a wacko. But it also makes it harder because you gotta see this person probably around school, which, God, that's just terrible. I guess that's just the magic of getting to know people online. If you don't like them, guess what? Utilize the block button. You'll never see them again. Once again, I say, isn't technology wonderful? Of course, I've also told off more than my fair share of people in real life. I guess I'm more similar to Pink in the way that I don't mind confrontation so much. I don't seek it out, but I also don't avoid it. But anyways, with all that said, let's go ahead and jump into that last story. Legbeard, a Wiccan tale. Casting magic's most foul. Hello all, I ran across ReddX's YouTube channel a few months ago, and after a lot of pondering, and also being too lazy to get around to it, feel that, I decided to type up and share my encounter with a Legbeard, the earliest one that I can recall. Throwaway account, just in case. Our cast is as follows. OP, 15 at the time, female, friendly and easygoing, also spineless, unconfrontational, and prone to running away from problems, back then at least, which is probably the reason that people like this frequented my orbit. That is an interesting theory. I think you might be onto something with that. Wicca, the Legbeard in question, Bangs and Green are Wicca's sidekicks, Maya was my best friend at the time, and the place was my very large, overpopulated school. 9th grade, last period, history, nearing the end of the school year. So I'm just gonna jump right into it. My history teacher had announced an in-class 2-person collab. I was partnered with a large girl. She was short, she was round, she had very pimply shiny skin, and short blonde, kinda greasy, Karen-esque hair. A baby Karen! Her blue eyes were framed with dark, thick eyeliner, and she sported black clothes all the time, with studs and a spiked bracelet. You get the picture. Now, I didn't judge people based off of looks, but the slight issue that I had was the faint odor. It wasn't exactly a nasty odor, not one that would make your stomach clench to keep from upchucking, but just the kind that you would get a whiff of in your house and you'd think, ew, what is that? And then you'd spend an absurd amount of time searching everywhere, only to discover that you had forgotten an almost empty cup of hot chocolate from a day or two before behind the TV, and it had molded. That's r/suspiciously specific right there. She seemed nice at least, so I did my best to ignore the occasional nasal assaults when the air shifted, and we chatted a bit after finishing and turning in the assignment. Innocent enough encounter. From that day onwards, she would enthusiastically greet me each and every time I entered the classroom, and she would hang around my desk to talk to me until class started. At the end of the day, she would raise her voice to the fluorescent light gods and give me a nice, big, loud, and obnoxious "Bye, OP!" as I walked the dusty 5-foot road out the door. Grating on the nerves after the 3rd time, maybe, but a big deal? Not really, I guess. As time went on, she decided to grace me with the knowledge of a very special fact about herself. She was wide, fried, and filled with Wiccan pride. You're killing me. Not her exact words, I'll admit, but a more accurate description would fall short of her truest form. I could feel the radiating sense of superiority and pride when she told me. I suppose it was because it made her unique and stand out from everyone else in class, like a brown thing in a field of grass that really you're better off just avoiding. She waited expectantly for my response to her grand announcement, and I gave her the old, "Oh, cool." The go-to for things that one does not really care about. She would from then on offer to cast spells on my behalf, talk about how to cast spells, or tell me about spells that she had casted on other people. I don't know if she ever casted any on me, nor do I really want to know, but if Wiccan was a product, she'd be the bad salesman that you politely listened to, but secretly wished would just go away. And then one fateful day, while lost in my own thoughts and walking to the feeding grounds, my God, what was that? It sounded like the screech of a banshee, loud enough to wake the dead. It was also a screech that sounded an awful lot like my name. I whipped around, obviously thinking that someone I knew was dying or being squeezed to death and needed my help, only to see Wicca standing at the other end of the hallway. The moment she saw my eyes register her large frame, she waddled with surprising speed and jumped, or should I say hopped, onto me. And then I was the one in danger of being squeezed to death by her strangely strong, pudgy arms. You should just dropped her fat ass on the floor, OP. This type of incident would occur every time she would spot me
In the wild!
And despite my embarrassment of having witnesses who firstly heard and then saw this girl repeatedly almost knock me down, I was too polite, read spineless, to tell her to just fucking stop. And her Wiccan eyes failed to detect my stressed face, tense body, recoiling reaction, or lack of any positive response to her affectionate attacks. As the days went by, this girl only seemed to get clingier. She took it upon herself to compel me to meet her friends.
Okay, so I told my friends that you're coming to meet them after class, OP.
Which I hesitantly agreed to do like the good little pushover that I was. Class ended and I came face to face with her two companions who had been waiting by the front of the library for us, both of whom were also Wiccans, as I would later find out while talking to them. Green, who was rather chunky but less so than Wicca, wore black glasses and had shoulder-cut, washed-out green hair with dark roots that looked like she didn't brush it, and had on a low-cut top that showed off quite a bit of cleavage. Bangs, on the other hand, was toned down, at least in comparison, with her straight black hair and her straight black bangs that sat flat across her forehead. She was also the tallest of the bunch, and had an average build for a girl that age. Both were dressed mostly in black, like Wicca, except for Bangs having a white shirt on under her jacket and a pair of dark blue jeans. But they both were adorned with one item or another with studs and spikes. Green had on some pentagram earrings. Super edgy. It hit me like a train seeing them all together like that. I realized that I had seen all of them before, whereas previously I never placed Wicca there by herself. They hung out by the weird anime kids. Now, let me make a quick interjection here. I don't inherently think that people who watch anime are weird. Not at all. I've seen a few, though I don't generally watch anime, more into like Lord of the Rings type stuff. However, the anime kids had taken to physically and audibly role-playing, oh god, out in view for all to watch. As their anime characters, you could only see them seductively dip one another with their faces unbelievably close and rumble out in some deep faux voice some outlandish lines so many times before you started to view them as those weird anime kids. Just to shrug off their behavior. Oh lord, not in the middle of school, man. Now, the weird anime kids converged under one of the only two trees in the feeding grounds, and there, covered by shadows from the leafy green branches, which is probably why it took seeing them together to actually remember, was where I recalled seeing the school's Wiccans huddled together like three owls avoiding daylight. I made a mental note to give that place a wide berth from now on. I felt obliged to stay until one of them had left first, a decision that led me to questioning all of my life choices. Because Green, while a little loud, was also touchy, like Wicca, but less hugs and more of a smack on the arm variety, with her howling in laughter when she thought she said something funny or clever. But I'll be fair, maybe it was so clever that I just didn't get it. Maybe. What I did get was the feeling of a bruise forming after she'd playfully smacked my arm in the exact same spot more than 3 times. Bangs was quiet, and that somehow made her seem like the most normal of the group, though I wouldn't get to find out because this would be the last time that I willingly put myself in their presence, other than a quick wave in passing as I sped up to avoid interaction. A wise move indeed. After this day, I came to class prepared, packing a hot barrel of pre-planned excuses. All was tolerable again until the big reveal. It was a few days after the summoning that Wicca approached my desk to talk, as usual. The topics that she brought up were your run-of-the-mill average teenage bullshit until she made an abrupt announcement. Wicca.
There's something I have to tell you.
Oh boy. OP? What? Wicca paused. I assume now that this was to build up the dramatics of it all. Wicca.
I'm bisexual.
OP? Oh, really? Wicca.
Yeah, I hope you're okay with that.
OP? Yeah, it's fine. Why wouldn't I be? Wicca.
I don't know, I just thought I should tell you.
OP? Okay, well, I'm fine with it. Yes, I approve. Whatever. Leave me alone. Her being bisexual was way less of a thing than her telling me that she was a Wiccan who casted spells. Sorry to anyone who's actually into that. After this seemingly innocent conversation, Wicca's physical contact intensified. She would grab a hold of my forearm, poke me, nudge me, constantly touching and not picking up on my physical signs of discomfort or recoiling. Of course, being me at the time, I did not have the nerve nor the heart to tell anyone that they were making me uncomfortable or bothering me, so I did what I did frequently in high school when that happened. I started to actively try and avoid it completely. I'd pretend not to hear her screeching my name. I'd alter my direction if I saw her before she saw me outside the classroom, and I made sure to make it to class just as the bell rang. Even with that, she pestered me twice as hard
To hang out with her and her friends every chance she got.
Occasionally, after the bell rang, I'd see them walking towards the classroom to meet her, which was something that they hadn't done before. Luckily, I was always out of the door with a head start due to being seated right next to it. So there was only time for a quick, "Hey," in passing, as I stress walked away as fast as possible. Run, LP, run! The more touchy she was and the more invitations she gave, the more I started to feel like I was being cornered, as if there was some sort of attempt being made to suck me into a cult that I clearly did not want to be a part of. It was an eerie feeling, but thank God it neared its end with just as much abruptness because the last day of school had finally rolled around. I wouldn't have any other classes with her in the future, and after one particular encounter over summer break, she wouldn't seek me out either. You see, I told my best friend about this girl, as one naturally would. She knew her by sight after I had explained that she hung out by the weird anime kids. It was only a bit over a month and a half altogether, but it was enough to make her weirded out on my behalf and feel jealous that someone was trying to steal her best friend, no matter how unsuccessfully. So fast forward, and there we are. It's summer, and we're doing what teenage kids do, hanging out at the movies. We're loitering outside the theater, and Maya is eating a churro. We're just enjoying our day and minding our own business.
Oh my god! OP!
Our heads both turn to see Wicca coming our way, looking ecstatic, and no doubt planning to crush me in a one-sided hug. So what logical thing does my best friend do but grab a hold of me and pull me back and angrily shout at this girl, "Get your own best friend!" That's a big brain play. Well, strike me down and call me dead, but I'll tell you now that that will not stop a witch. Wicca just threw a weird look in her direction and kept on coming. It turned into this weird dance around a lamppost, with Wicca attempting to reach me, laughing like it was a joke, and Maya yanking me in the opposite direction, with her churro spreading sugar dust and cinnamon all over the right side of my jacket. Still repeating, in all seriousness, "Get your own best friend!" Such a ridiculous scene. Oh, Lord. Finally, after what felt like forever, but was actually probably just a few minutes, and with a look of defeat, Wicca gave up. I mumbled out a quick sorry and got gratefully dragged away. Did she cast any spells because of it? Who knows? That friend did up having to move the next year. Coincidence? Yeah, probably. Either way, it was done. If you guys would like to hear more stories from my past, if this one was at all entertaining to anyone that is, I do have a few more that I could share. A fair warning for them though, none really have any explosive endings, because that is just not the type of person that I was during that time frame. Entertaining, sure, maybe, but will they satisfy the urge that many have to put a necky or a leggy in their place? Probably not. Well, greetings to ReddX if he reads this, and to everyone else. Enjoy the rest of your day. Whenever anybody offers up new stories, my answer is always yes. This story was definitely my favorite of the Legbeard bundle that I got delivered on the subreddit, so if you got some more to share, sure, I'd love to hear it. It's extremely descriptive, extremely well written. Definitely write some more, OP. I'd be happy to read it. Part of me wants to feel bad for Wicca, just because she's so clueless. She's basically just looking for someone to add to her friend group, I think. But honestly, that's no excuse to, physically assault somebody. Definitely don't go just jumping on top of people. That is so rude. That is so outside of the social contract. What is wrong with you? OP definitely should have told her off at that point, because she's pushing the envelope to see what she can get away with. But I understand non-confrontation and such. And that was an interesting point that was brought up at the beginning of the story. A lot of these stories seem to have non-confrontational OPs. Because if you eviscerate a beard to start out with, then guess what? You're never going to have to deal with it again. You're right, you might hurt somebody's feelings, but some people need to have their feelings hurt. Reality check. I really like the description of the weird anime kids. Role-playing their favorite anime, which I guess if they enjoy it, whatever. Let them do them. But it does provide some quality cringe. I have to wonder if the Wiccans are only over there because of the shade. She said it's one of two trees. So do they participate in the anime roleplay? Or are they just over there bearing witness to this madness? It might have skewed their compass just a little bit, living in a real-life anime every lunch period. Oh, Lord. That's a good one. But casting spells, it really does work. I lit a fedora on fire, filled with tendies and Mountain Dew as a tribute so that this episode might find success. And you can participate in the ritual by liking, commenting, subscribing, and maybe even sharing the video around if you would like to do so. Check out the link swarm in the description. There's a bunch of stuff on there that wasn't included on the splash page, including my personal subreddit and my wife's channel, and my gaming channel, which I don't really use these days. But you're also seeing some names on the screen. Those are my gorgeous, wonderful, beautiful, generous patrons, and I would like to thank them all, but especially Lady Nix, Robert Waits, Pope Squid, Rebecca H, Cider Drinker, Tato Ferret, The Last Shinobi, Mark 211, Michael Undead, Aaron W, Mitch, John Hero, Josh K, Candy Sora, DigiNC, Calicess, Little Lone Wolf, and Lone Island. Thank you guys very, very much for your support. Obviously, if anybody else can support monetarily, that is massively appreciated, especially at this fledgling phase of my channel. We're trying to make it full-time on YouTube. It ain't easy, but it's been my dream for the better half of a decade, and it's finally coming to fruition. Finally. So thank you guys so much for supporting. Although, if you can't donate at the moment, don't sweat it too hard. I definitely just appreciate you hanging out with me today, and I hope that you come back and hang out with me again tomorrow, because the views is really how my beard is buttered. You know what I'm saying? In order to do so, you're going to need to keep yourself safe out there, wash your hands all the time, super important, but also take some time out to do something that you personally enjoy today. Maybe watching some more ReddX videos. Hey, ain't nothing wrong with that. Always remember, friends, that you are loved, you are worthy, and you definitely deserve it. I'll see you in the next one, and until then, bye-bye.